The given lie chart gives information about library visits. The x-axis showing the years 2015, 2016 and so on. The y-axis showing the visits in millions, 5, 5.1 and so on. In 2015 around 5 million viewers. In 2016 around 5.2, 5.4 million in the 2017, 5.5 million in 2019, and highest number of data in 2020 which is around 5.6, and the lowest number of data in 2015. Overall, the given image information about library visits beautiful image.
The graph tells about annual library visits by each years. The highest percentage is in 2020, it is about 5.6 million visitors. The lowest percentage is in 2015, it is about 5 million visitors. In 2016, the percentage is lower, it is about 5.2 million visitors. In 2018, the percentage is high, it is about 5.4 million visitors. In summary, the line describes about annual library visits by each years.
The image provided is the line graph which gives an information about the annual library visits, and the x-axis tells about the visits from million for 5.0 to 5.6 million, and y-axis tells about the years from 2015 to 2020. Here we can see that in 2015 we having the least amount with a 5.0 million, and it has the least visits, and in 2020 it has an highest number of the visits which nearly contains the 5.6 million. And the picture is very informative and it tells about the annual library visits from the year of 2050 to 2020, and the remaining 2019 and 2018 having the 5.4 and 5.5.
This line graph gives information about annual library visits from 2015 to 2020. When you study the image closely, you can see that in 2015, the number of annual library visits was 5 million. That is the lowest number. There is a clear indication that in 2016, the number of library visits was 5.2 million. That is slightly higher. The image also highlights that in 2019, the number of library visits was 5.5 million, and in 2020, the number of library visits was 5.6 million. That is the highest number.
The picture gives information about annual library visits. Subsequently, what I can explain, x-axis shows number of years 2015 to 2020. Y-axis shows number of visits million 5.0 to 5.6. According to the picture, the highest number of percentage of value 2020, which is 5.6 million. The lowest number of percentage of value 2015, which is 5 visits million. Also 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 are the 5.1 million visits million. Overall, the image illustrates annual library visits, and thank you so much.
This image is mainly about library visits. Firstly, the highest value of this image are 5.6, 5.5 and 5.4. Secondly, the lowest value of this image are 5.2, 5.1 and 5. In addition, it gives the information about 2015, 2016 and 2017, and also about 2018, 2019 and 2020. Finally, it shows the different types of color red, black, blue with the highest value and lowest value. I think it is enough. Thank you so much.
This line graph gives information about annual library visits from 2015 to 2020. When you study the image closely, you can see that in 2015, the value is 5 million, that is the lowest. There is a clear indication that in 2016, the value is 5.2 million, that is slightly higher. The image also highlights that in 2018, the value is 5.4 million, while in 2019, the value is 5.5 million. Overall, this image tells us about annual library visits.
The given bar graph gives information about the annual library visits between 2015 and 2020. Here we can see the percentage of people who visit the library in 2015 were around 5 million people, and it was increased to 5.6 in the year 2020. And in 2016 and 2017, 2019, we can see the linear growth where the people visiting are constantly increasing. Overall, we can say that over the 5 years, the number of people visiting the library have increased by 0.5 million.
The image illustrates a line graph showing the library visits from the year 2015 to 2020. As you can see in the image, in the year 2015, only 5 million visited the library. Then it increased to 5.2 million in 2016. Then in the following year, became 5.3, and the next year 2018 it became 5.4 million, and in the 2019 it is 5.5, and it reached to 5.6 million in 2020. Overall, there is an increasing trend for library visits for the past 5 years.
The line chart gives information about annual library visits. From the picture, we can see in 2017 the value is 5.3, in 2018 the value is higher, which is 5.4. The highest number is in 2020 and it is 5.6. And the lowest one is in 2015, just 5. To sum up, the line charts tells about annual library visits.
The following line chart gives some information about annual library visit. It shows that in 2017 the value is 5.3 million. Also the value in 2018 is more with 5.4 million. On the other hand, the highest value belongs to 2020 with 5.6 million, and the lowest value belongs to 2015 with only 5 million visits. To sum up, this line chart gives some information about annual library visits.
In this picture, we get to see a line chart which talks about the annual library visits. In x-axis, we get to see the years starting from 2015 to 2020, and in the y-axis, we get to see the visits in millions starting from 5 to 5.6. We can understand that 2015 was the least number of visits for annual visits, and we can see the most numbers happening in 2020. From the graph, we can understand that the numbers have gone up gradually over the years.
The image is about the annual library visits from 2015 to 2020. In overall perspectives, the visits of the library increased from 5% to 5.6% in overall the mentioned period. If I talk about the year 2015, the visits were 5.0 millions, and if I talk about the year 2018, the visits were 5.4 millions. At the end of the time in 2020, the visits reached up to the 5.6 millions. To summarize, I can say that the visits increase.
The line chart provided us on the screen gives us information about the annual library visits. In the x-axis, this shows year from 2015 to 2020, while in y-axis, they show us the visit millions in, which is 5.2 to 5.6. It is clearly evident that the least is for 2015, which is 5%, and the highest is for 2020, which is 5.6%. Overall, they give us information about the annual library visits.
From this line chart, we can get a lot of information about annual library visits. In 2015, which is the lowest, about 5 millions. In 2020, which is 5.6 million, which is the largest. From 2015 to 2020, it is increasing annually. Therefore, we can get a lot of information about annual library visits.